Hello everyone, it's Alex from Epic Wrestling Crew coming at you today from the Excellence of Wrestling. I am from the Epic Wrestling Crew channel. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, you should go do that. I'll have all the links in the description. But today's video is going to be about my favorite year in WWE. Now, I started watching wrestling around 1998, 1999 when around the time when WCW Mayhem, the game came out on 64, the WWF Attitude, around that time. So it was like, you know, I was still in the Attitude Era, but as great as the Attitude Era might have been, it's not my favorite year. It's not my favorite time era. My favorite year is the year 2002. Now, I know there's a lot of weird things going on around that year, but to me, it's the year I remember the most, actually. This year started off right after the Invasion angle. WCW, ECW Invasion angle was a bit of a letdown to a lot of people, but you know, me as a kid, it was entertaining because I actually started watching WCW first because I didn't really have cable back then, and Nitro was it was on TNT and you didn't have to pay for that. So I used to watch that, and when I see these guys coming into WWE, it was cool. So then after that, 2002 came, and this is when the NWO debuted in the WWE. They came out in was it No Way Out? I used to always make the connection with No Way Out and New World Order, and they were both NWO. I thought that was the perfect pay-per-view to debut them. And you know, Triple H was out. As a kid, I hated Triple H. I didn't like him. I thought he was always in the spotlight, which is one of the reasons why I didn't like. I liked 2003. I loved it, but that's one of the reasons why it's not my favorite, because Triple H was always hogging the spotlight. Guys like Chris Jericho, Undertaker got the world title, the Undisputed Championship actually, and Chris Jericho even got to main event WrestleMania. WrestleMania 18 was one of the best WrestleManias I've seen. We have The Rock versus Hogan, Undertaker versus Ric Flair, the main event Triple H versus Chris Jericho. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Triple H, but the main event was actually okay. You know, you got to see Chris Jericho in the main event. Another thing that happened in 2002 is after WrestleMania, we had the brand split. This is when the WWE had too many people on the roster, so they had to make Raw and SmackDown two separate shows with different superstars in each, and you had the Ric Flair versus McMahon thing going on, and they would each pick one wrestler, and then after that you had the whole supplemental draft. I think the first pick for Raw was Undertaker, and the first pick for SmackDown was The Rock. I still remember that. I still remember because the Undertaker didn't want to get drafted by Ric Flair. He was like playing mind games with him, but he still got drafted. You know, Undertaker is my favorite wrestler of all time. Undertaker was constantly on TV the whole year. You got to see him win the Hardcore Championship from RVD. You know, he moved on from that. But before that, though, you had the change from WWF to WWE. That was another thing that was very revolutionary at the time. You know, the WWF was known as the WWF for so long. It was like even to this day, there's people who, you know, haven't really kept up with wrestling and still call it WWF, and it's a name that will go on. But now it's the World Wildlife Foundation, whatever it's called. I don't care. But the change to WWE, that was big for me back then. You know, a kid having to change the name, that was actually a bigger deal than it is now actually. But another pivotal point in 2002 was the Stone Cold walking away. That was very confusing from, like, as a kid. You know, I wasn't really into the dirt sheets and stuff like that. I didn't follow that stuff. I just watched it, and I was a fan of it. So when you hear these things on TV, you don't know if it was real, you don't know if it was fake. But yeah, Stone Cold and then other superstars like walking out, being absent and stuff, no showing. Another huge event in 2002 was the debut of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, since the first day he was on TV, he was built as this huge monster, as somebody who could be an unstoppable force. Brock Lesnar was pushed all the way to the top. I felt like that was a mistake. Even back then, I was like, who is this guy? Why are they pushing him so much? You know, he was actually an entertaining person to watch. Even to this day, after his short career, people still love him. People still want him to come back, right? But that's probably one of the reasons why he left. Maybe had he been pushed slower, maybe had he been pushed like any other worker, maybe earned the WWE Championship, not give it to him after a few months, youngest world champion, and stuff like that, maybe he would still be in wrestling. You never know. But yeah, the debut of Brock Lesnar. He went on to defeat The Rock at SummerSlam for the Undisputed Championship. We never heard from The Rock after that, but we got Brock Lesnar. You know, shortly after that, he moved to SmackDown, went on to have other feuds with Kurt Angle, Big Show, stuff like that. He had like a whole bunch of face, heel turns. Another thing that was really, really weird was the gay wedding with Billy and Chuck. I thought that was a great segment. Even to this day, like I watch it like once in a blue moon with the whole Eric Bischoff. That's another thing I forgot about that. Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon being announced as the general managers. Never would anybody have thought that Eric Bischoff would be in a WWE arena, just be connected with the WWE in any way, you know, besides showing up on a DVD. People, that was like I said, during the time I didn't really follow Dirt Sheet, so I don't know if this was leaked before it actually happened on TV. But when I first saw that, I was like, wow. Even as a young kid back then, you know who Eric Bischoff was if you watched WCW. And as I was saying, that segment with Billy and Chuck, he was like, did anybody say 3 minutes? And then the 3-minute warning come out and just like destroy everything. But yeah, another thing that happened here, there were a whole bunch of great returns in 2002. You had the return of Shawn Michaels. After 4 years of having to be sidelined because of a back injury, Shawn Michaels comes back better than ever and defeats Triple H in a street fight. I know this happened at SummerSlam, same pay-per-view that was it Summer? It might have been SummerSlam. Same pay-per-view that Brock Lesnar beat The Rock, and it was, I didn't really get to see much of Shawn Michaels, honestly. The earlier stuff I've seen of him was it's been like on YouTube videos that I've downloaded or bought. Yeah, pretty much. But when I see him perform for the first time, I'm like, wow, this guy's great. I love Shawn Michaels. He's not like my favorite wrestler of all time, but I respect the man. Seeing him come back was awesome. That was cool. And then you have the whole feud with Triple H and Shawn Michaels drag on for a long time. And another return was Kane. Kane came back with the new mask, with the mask is like open right here. Kane is like one of my favorite wrestlers also. And seeing him come back and do the Kane or Rooney, I didn't really mind. I thought it was pretty cool because he still had that. He was still a monster, but he was still not so uptight like he is now. And what else happened here? I thought 2002 was the debut of the Elimination Chamber, and that match, the first ever Elimination Chamber, Shawn Michaels went on to win the World Heavyweight Championship. His title reign only lasted like a month, but seeing him champion again was also another thing. Was also huge, man. That was awesome. 2002, like I said, was a great year. I might have left out some stuff because it's hard to remember all of it, but I thought it was a great year. That's my favorite year. It also led into 2003 really well. 2003 was an awesome year with Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Booker T, Chris Jericho. It was Goldberg also. It was amazing. That's just all I gotta say. I loved it. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Anything else I left out, you might want to put it in the comments for me, and I'll thank you for that. But yeah, subscribe to the Excellence of Wrestling, Epic Wrestling Crew. This was Alex signing out. Peace.